Next lesson we're going to look at is talking about using the percent equation. We just talked about using the percent proportion. Percent equation is an alternate method for solving the problem. So if you liked percent proportion, if you're okay doing the problems that way, then you can do them that way. We'll give this a try maybe first. If not, if you didn't like the percent proportion quite as well, percent equation is going to be another option for you to do those problems. So if we look at example 1, in science class, students compared their vertical reach and height to see if they're proportional. Maria is 60 inches tall, can reach 75 inches high. What percent of her total vertical reach is her height? Okay, so if they hadn't drawn the picture for me here, I would be underlining or highlighting some information here. Maria is 60 inches tall, can reach 75 inches high. And then the question here is playing a big part in how we do percent equations. For percent equation, basically there's two things we're going to need to remember. Two basic things. One thing is if you see the word of, that means multiply. Of means multiply, generally. The other thing is if we see the word is means equals. And that information is not going to be found in your book, so you might want to write that down. That's kind of a key to doing the whole thing here. So what we're going to do here, we're going to take this question that they gave us, and we're just going to translate that question into an equation. So the question, it says what percent? That's what we're trying to find. So if you want to do P for percent, you can. If you want to do X, you can. P for percent might not be a bad choice. If you do X, I had a student ask one time, since we're finding a percent to remind themselves of something we're going to have to do in a minute, can we put X percent instead of just writing X? And I'm okay with that. Okay, so the X percent, that's standing for what percent? I see of, we said, means multiply. Her total vertical reach, which is 75, is means equals her height, which is 60. So what I've done there, I've taken their question and I've translated that into an equation. Once I translate it to an equation, we're just going to solve the equation. So you can see on this problem, over with our variable, what's happening here. Okay, they are multiplying. So in order to solve for that, we would need to divide. Good. So we're going to divide by 75 on both sides of the equation. 75 divided by 75 is 1, so those cancel. And then 60 divided by 75, if you divide that out, you should get 8/10. Now, there's one final thing we have to do here, and that's the reason the student suggested, can I put X percent to remind myself? The deal is right now, this answer we have right now, this is as a decimal. That's as a decimal. We want to have that as a percent. So changing that from a decimal to a percent, we're just going to move our decimal 2 places to the right, which would be 80%. If you forget how that works, what we can do is just take the idea here. We've got 8/10 is like 8 over 10. 8/10 is 8/10. And a percent we know is a number out of 100. So we could just multiply both of these by 10. It would give me 80 over 100, which means 80%.